Peace is not something that arrives at your doorstep wrapped in ribbon waiting to be opened. Peace is not a prize handed out for good behavior, nor is it something the world can give to you with any permanence. Peace is born from within, and it grows when you make the bold, unshakable choice to love yourself without conditions. You see, many of us spend years chasing peace in places that cannot hold it. We chase it in relationships, thinking that if someone would just love us enough, we could finally breathe. We chase it in possessions, believing that one more thing, one more title, one more achievement will quiet the noise in our souls. We chase it in approval, bending and twisting ourselves into shapes that please others, hoping their applause will soothe the ache inside. And yet, after all the chasing, peace still slips through our fingers, because we are looking outward for what was always meant to grow inward. Loving yourself unconditionally is not an act of arrogance, nor is it an act of vanity. It is an act of survival, an act of liberation. It is the moment when you stop saying, "I will love myself when I am thinner, richer, wiser, stronger, more perfect." It is the moment when you decide, "I will love myself now, as I am in this body, with this story, with these scars." That is where peace begins, when the war against yourself ends. Think of how often you have stood in the mirror and declared war on your own reflection. Think of how often you have silenced your voice because you thought it was not worthy to be heard. Think of how many times you have told yourself, "I am not enough." Each time you did, you handed your peace to someone else. You let the world dictate your worth. But peace will never live in a heart that is at war with itself. To find peace, you must call back every piece of yourself you rejected, every corner of yourself you condemned, and you must love them back into wholeness. Unconditional love is not blind to your flaws. It does not pretend you are perfect. Instead, it looks at every imperfection, every mistake, every broken piece, and says, "Even here I am worthy. Even here I am whole. Even here I am enough." When you begin to love yourself this way, something miraculous happens. The noise quiets, the striving slows, the restlessness eases, and in its place there is peace. A peace not built on conditions, not built on the approval of others, but built on truth. Peace does not come from running away from yourself. It comes from sitting still with yourself, from listening to your own heart without judgment, from embracing your story, the good, the painful, the ugly, the beautiful, and saying, "This is me and I am worthy of love." Peace blooms when you no longer fight against your own existence. When you love yourself without conditions, you stop bargaining with your worth. You stop saying, "If only I accomplish this, then I'll deserve to rest. If only I fix that, then I'll deserve love." No, you deserve love because you exist. You deserve peace because you are here. You are not a mistake. You are not an accident. You are a creation of immense value, and your breath is proof that you belong. The world may not always affirm this truth. People may criticize, compare, or reject you. Life may test you with storms and losses, but when you have rooted yourself in unconditional self-love, the storms cannot uproot your peace. Yes, they may shake you. Yes, they may bend you. But you will rise again because you are anchored in the truth that your worth is not up for debate. You must stop making your love for yourself conditional upon your progress. Too many of us say, "I'll be proud of myself when I lose the weight, when I get the promotion, when I stop making mistakes." But peace is not found in the someday. Peace is found in the today. Love yourself in the process, not just at the destination. Celebrate the becoming, not just the arrival. When you do, you find that peace walks with you every step of the way, not just waiting at the finish line. Do not confuse unconditional self-love with complacency. To love yourself unconditionally does not mean you stop growing. In fact, it is love that fuels growth. When you love yourself as you are, you create a safe space to change, to evolve, to stretch. Growth that comes from shame is fragile. It breaks under pressure. But growth that comes from love is sustainable. It is strong, it is rooted, and it brings peace, because you are no longer running from yourself. You are walking with yourself hand in hand, step by step. Peace is not found in perfection. Peace is found in permission, the permission to be human, to stumble, to rise, to try again. Peace is found when you look at yourself with the same compassion you would give a child learning to walk. You would not scold that child for falling. You would not shame them for stumbling. You would cheer them on. You would tell them to get back up, to try again, because you know they are learning. Offer yourself the same grace. That is unconditional love. That is the soil where peace grows. The world is loud. The world is demanding. The world is filled with voices telling you who to be, how to look, what to achieve, when to arrive. But you can silence that noise when you tune into the gentler voice within. The voice that says, "You are enough. You are worthy. You are loved." That voice may be faint at first, buried under years of doubt and criticism. But if you listen, if you nurture it, if you choose it every day, it will grow louder, stronger, steadier. And when that voice becomes the loudest in your life, peace will follow. To love yourself unconditionally is to take back your power. It is to say, "No one else gets to decide if I am enough. No one else gets to define my worth." It is to declare, "I am whole, I am loved, I am peace." And when you live from this truth, your life begins to transform. Your relationships shift, because you are no longer begging others to give you what you already give yourself. Your choices shift because you stop chasing what drains you and start embracing what nourishes you. Your future shifts because you are no longer held hostage by the conditions of the past. And so, peace is not something you must chase. Peace is something you must claim. It is not waiting in the hands of another. It is not hiding in a perfect tomorrow. It is resting quietly in your own heart, waiting for you to choose it. Choose it now. Choose it by loving yourself without conditions. Choose it by ending the war within. Choose it by being the sanctuary your soul has always needed. Peace is not a gift that someone else can hand to you, and it is not a trophy that only the flawless can win. Peace is a decision. It is a choice you make when you look at yourself and say, I will stop fighting the person I see. I will stop tearing down the soul that is trying so hard to rise. I will stop waiting for the world to validate me before I rest in my own worth. Too many of us live with a war raging inside. We smile at the world, but behind the smile, we carry self-criticism sharp enough to wound our own hearts. We celebrate the success of others, but quietly tell ourselves we don't deserve the same joy. We speak kindness to strangers, but withhold it from ourselves. That war steals our peace. It exhausts us, drains us, and keeps us running in circles of doubt. But unconditional love, love that does not measure, love that does not bargain, can end that war in a single moment. You see, peace does not come from perfection but from permission. It is the permission to live fully even if you are not yet who you hope to become. It is the permission to rest even if the work is unfinished. It is the permission to be proud even if the mountain still rises before you. When you give yourself that permission, you give yourself peace. Loving yourself unconditionally does not mean ignoring your mistakes. It means forgiving them. It means looking at the parts of yourself that you have hidden away, the failures, the regrets, the disappointments, and saying, I love you too. That kind of love disarms shame. It tells guilt that its reign is over. It lifts the heavy burdens you have carried for years and whispers, you can set them down now. You can breathe now. You can live now. There is a quiet strength in unconditional love. It is not loud. It is not boastful. It is steady like the roots of a tree. Storms may rage, winds may howl, rain may fall, but the tree stands firm because its roots are deep. That is what unconditional love does for you. It anchors you in truth so that when life shakes, you do not fall apart. You bend, yes. You sway, yes. But you rise again stronger for having endured. Peace comes when you stop performing for acceptance. How many hours, how many years have been lost pretending to be what someone else wanted? How much time have you wasted trying to earn love through perfection, through sacrifice, through silence? Peace will never be found in the applause of the crowd. Peace will only be found when you love yourself enough to walk away from the stage and sit quietly in your own company, knowing you are enough without the performance. We are taught from childhood to earn love, to be good, to be successful, to be beautiful, to be agreeable. We carry those lessons into adulthood and find ourselves chasing approval in endless ways. But true love, the kind that brings peace, does not have to be earned. It does not set conditions. It does not say, only if. True love says, even so you are worthy. Even so you are whole. Even so you are loved. When you learn to give that kind of love to yourself, you stop chasing it in others and your soul finds rest. Do not mistake peace for passivity. Peace does not mean you stop striving for better. It does not mean you give up on growth. It means you grow without the weight of shame. It means you strive without the lash of self-hatred driving you forward. It means you honor yourself along the way. Peace allows you to change from a place of joy, not desperation. It allows you to rise because you want to, not because you feel forced to prove yourself. When you love yourself without conditions, you change the way you move through the world. You speak differently because your words are no longer filled with self-doubt. You walk differently because you are no longer carrying the chains of comparison. You love differently because you are no longer begging others to fill the void inside you. Instead, you offer love freely because you already know you are loved. That kind of peace radiates outward. It touches everyone around you. It turns relationships into places of freedom instead of prisons of expectation. Peace is not loud. It is not always visible to others. Sometimes peace is as simple as being able to sit alone in silence without feeling lonely. Sometimes peace is falling asleep without the weight of regret pressing against your chest. Sometimes peace is looking in the mirror and smiling because you recognize the person staring back. Sometimes peace is saying no without guilt, or yes without fear, or choosing to rest without shame. Those small moments are the evidence of unconditional love taking root in your life. It is easy to love yourself when the world praises you. It is easy to love yourself when you succeed, when you shine, when everything is going well. But unconditional love is tested in the shadows. It is tested when you fail, when you stumble, when you are rejected, when the world tells you that you are not enough. That is when you must be your own shelter. That is when you must hold yourself with tenderness and whisper, even here I love you. That is when peace is either lost or found. Think of the time you have already spent withholding love from yourself. Think of the years you thought you had to wait until you were better, before you were worthy of your own kindness. Think of how many sunsets passed while you told yourself not yet. You do not have to wait anymore. Peace is not waiting for you at the end of the journey. It is waiting for you in this very moment if you choose to love yourself without conditions. There is a kind of freedom that comes when you stop apologizing for who you are, when you stop shrinking to fit into spaces too small for your spirit, when you stop hiding the light of your own soul because it makes others uncomfortable. That freedom is peace. And it comes only when you love yourself enough to be fully, unapologetically you. Do not let the world convince you that self-love is selfish. It is not. Self-love is the foundation of every other love. If you do not know how to love yourself, you will forever struggle to love others without expectation. But when you love yourself unconditionally, you give others the gift of authentic love. Love that is not desperate, love that is not manipulative, love that is not needy. You love because you are full, not because you are empty. And that kind of love is peace in motion. Unconditional self-love also means patience. It means knowing you are still becoming, and that becoming takes time. Peace does not come from rushing the process. Peace comes from trusting the process, from believing that every step, even the missteps, are shaping you into the person you are meant to be. Peace is the soft sigh of acceptance, the gentle nod of trust, the willingness to embrace the journey as much as the destination. You cannot find peace if you are always fighting time. Stop telling yourself that you are too late, that you should have been further along by now, that you have wasted too much. Time is not your enemy. Time is your companion. And when you love yourself without conditions, you stop measuring your life by the timelines of others. You begin to honor your own pace, your own rhythm, your own unfolding. And in that honoring you find peace. Peace is not a miracle reserved for saints and sages. It is not something only the enlightened can have. Peace is for you. It is for the one who has been broken and mended, scarred and healed, lost and found. It is for the one who doubts and the one who hopes, for the one who fears and the one who dares. Peace is for every soul brave enough to say, I will love myself no matter what. Unconditional love is not a destination you arrive at once and for all. It is a practice, a daily choosing. Some days you will forget, some days you will fall back into criticism and comparison. But each time you remember, each time you choose again, you strengthen the muscle of love, and peace grows deeper. The world will not grow quieter. Life will not grow simpler. Challenges will not vanish. But within you there can be a sanctuary. Within you there can be a place that no storm can touch. Within you there can be peace. And it begins the moment you decide to love yourself without conditions. The journey of peace is not one you walk only once. It is a path you must choose again and again, for everyday life will tempt you to forget. There will be voices, sometimes soft, sometimes loud, that tell you that you are not enough, that you are falling behind, that you are too much of one thing and not enough of another. Those voices will echo from the past, from society, from comparisons that creep into your heart when you least expect them. But you must answer those voices with love. You must remind yourself that peace is not something the world can give or take away. Peace is born inside you when you decide to accept who you are without condition. Each of us carries scars. Some are visible, written on our skin. Others are hidden deep inside, stitched into memory. Too often we mistake these scars for shame. We look at them as evidence of weakness, proof of failure. But what if we saw them differently? What if we recognized them as proof of survival, as the lines of a story that only we could tell? Loving yourself unconditionally means looking at your scars and saying, these too are worthy of love. It means seeing the beauty not just in the unbroken places, but in the broken ones too. That is where peace finds you, in the embrace of your whole story, not just the polished parts. Peace is not always calm. Sometimes peace is fierce. It is the strength to set boundaries, to walk away from what harms you, to say no even when saying no disappoints others. Unconditional self-love teaches you that protecting your peace is not selfish. It is sacred. For how can you serve, how can you give, how can you love if you are always pouring from an empty cup? Peace teaches you to guard your soul not out of fear but out of reverence. You learn to say, this space inside me is holy. I will not allow it to be trampled. That decision is love in action, and it gives you the calm strength to face the world without losing yourself. Many of us think peace will come when life finally slows down, when the chaos settles, when everything falls into place. But life has never promised us stillness. The storms come whether we want them or not. Peace is not waiting for perfect conditions. Peace is the ability to stand in the middle of the storm and know that you will not be destroyed by it. Peace is the deep knowing that even as the winds rage, there is a center within you that remains unmoved. That center is built on love, the kind that does not abandon you when you falter. When you love yourself without conditions, you give yourself the gift of presence. Too often we rush through our days, haunted by regrets of yesterday and anxieties of tomorrow. But peace can only be lived in the present. It can only be tasted in this breath, this heartbeat, this moment. Loving yourself here and now, without waiting for tomorrow's achievements or yesterday's forgiveness, roots you in the present. It allows you to see beauty in small things, the laughter of a child, the warmth of sunlight, the sound of rain. Those small things, when gathered, become the foundation of a peaceful life. Unconditional love frees you from the heavy cloak of comparison. You are not meant to live another person's story. You are not meant to walk their path or mimic their steps. And yet, how often do we measure ourselves against others and come up lacking? Comparison is a thief. It steals peace, it robs joy, it blinds us to our own blessings. But when you love yourself as you are, you stop comparing. You begin to see yourself as a unique melody not meant to sound like anyone else. You find peace when you realize that your song, with all its imperfections, is still worthy of being sung. Peace is also found in forgiveness, not only forgiving yourself but forgiving others. Unconditional love for yourself softens the heart toward others, not because you condone what they have done, but because you refuse to carry the poison of resentment any longer. Forgiveness is not about excusing someone else's wrongs, it is about freeing yourself from their grip. When you let go, you reclaim your peace. And that peace grows stronger every time you choose release over bitterness, compassion over anger. There is power in gentleness. To love yourself unconditionally is to be gentle with your own soul. To treat yourself with the same care you would give a child or a friend or a beloved one. Too often we push ourselves with harshness, believing that cruelty will make us stronger. But strength born from cruelty is brittle. It cracks under pressure. Strength born from gentleness, from love, from patience is unbreakable. Peace comes when you stop whipping yourself forward and instead guide yourself with kindness. Do not wait until you have achieved all your goals to find peace. Do not believe the lie that peace is on the other side of success. Success without peace will never satisfy. You will find yourself forever chasing the next achievement, the next milestone, only to realize that the finish line keeps moving. But if you anchor yourself in unconditional love, you can walk every step with peace no matter how far you have yet to go. The body carries the truth of how we treat ourselves. Stress knots the muscles, anxiety quickens the breath, shame weighs heavy on the chest. But when you love yourself, truly and without condition, your body begins to relax, your breath deepens, your shoulders drop, your chest feels light. Peace is not only a spiritual experience, it is a physical one too. Your body knows when you are at war with yourself, and it knows when you have made peace. Loving yourself is medicine, and peace is the healing it brings. Children know peace better than adults do. Watch a child at play, unconcerned with how they look, unconcerned with how they compare. They are simply present, simply alive. They laugh without hesitation, they dance without shame, they sing without fear. Somewhere along the way we lose that freedom. We begin to judge ourselves, to hide ourselves, to restrain ourselves. But unconditional love invites us back to that childlike peace. It says, you are allowed to play again. You are allowed to laugh again. You are allowed to live without apology. You cannot wait for others to hand you the peace you long for. You cannot wait for their love to convince you of your worth. People are human, they are fragile, they are flawed, and their love, while valuable, cannot replace the love you must give yourself. Waiting for someone else to love you perfectly is like waiting for the sun to rise at midnight. It will never happen. But the moment you decide to love yourself unconditionally, the sun rises inside you and peace breaks through the darkness. Peace is not about avoiding pain. It is about learning that pain does not define you. It is about knowing that your suffering, while real, is not the end of your story. Loving yourself unconditionally means you hold your own hand through the hard nights, whispering to your heart, this too shall pass. You will rise from this. You are more than this moment. That whisper is peace in its purest form, a reminder that you are never abandoned even by yourself. The world is loud with demands. It tells you to do more, be more, have more. But unconditional love says, you are already enough. Peace comes when you stop listening to the noise of the world and start listening to the quiet truth of your own soul. That truth will not shout, it will not demand, it will simply remind you again and again that you are worthy of love right here, right now, without condition. So let your heart rest in the truth that peace is not found in the world's approval nor in the perfection you chase, but in the love you dare to give yourself today. Stand tall in your wholeness, embrace every scar, honor every lesson, and know that you are worthy, not because of what you have done, but simply because you exist. The day you choose to love yourself without condition is the day you choose freedom. It is the day peace moves from a distant dream to a living reality within you. And from that place of peace you will rise, you will shine, and you will carry a light the world cannot extinguish. Love yourself without conditions and you will never again be at war with your own soul.